Hello and welcome to the Dean Project Show. My name is Dan Frampton. This here is Munchie the Nutcracker, and together we're known as the Dean Project, and we are the best band on the planet. Now I'm very excited that you greenlit this show to come back for a second season, but they had one stipulation. They said, Dean Project, we really liked the tone of what you were going for in the first season, but we only liked one of the kinds of content that you put out. We didn't like it when you talked about PewDiePie. We didn't like it when you talked about Mars, Argo, and Poppy. We didn't like it when you talked about the origin story of Munchie. We didn't like any of that shit. We only liked the book review segment that you did on the program. So I thought to myself, well, I really like doing the book review segment, so it's no problem for me to bring back the segment. So without any further ado, okay, I hope you enjoyed that very same intro that we had in the first season. I'm not going to make another one. That's going to be the one forever. Today in the book review segment, we're going to review Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace. Now, the first thing I noticed about this fucking book, the guy's last name is in the middle. What the fuck is with that? David Foster Wallace? Two of those are first names and they're on either end of a last name, Foster. Foster's clearly a last name. So I don't know if this guy just switched around his names for his, his pseudonym? Synonym? Students. Anyway, the first thing I noticed about this book is its heft. This thing's got a lot of weight to it. So if you want to play frisbee with this book, I'd say don't. Play frisbee with a frisbee. What you should be doing with this book is you should be collecting them. You should get about 1,000 of these Infinite Jests, and then you could build yourself a house. You can build yourself a house for 1,000 times 26, so $26,000. Beautiful. Boom. You got fucking self a house. Now, another thing that I noticed about this book is actually the pages are pretty thin. This book could be a lot thicker if you just beefed up those pages a little bit. So I think if you're in the business of making big, thick books, you really topped out with these page sizes. If you went with a cardstock, maybe something a little thinner than a cardstock, man, this thing would be fucking this big. And that's the business you want to be in. Now, I also noticed that the pages are a little bit yellow. I don't know if that turns you off of a book. I guess it's pretty standard for every book. Also, what I noticed about this book is there's a picture of the guy with the last name in the middle right here. That's the Foster guy right here. He's the culprit of the weird name order. So if I were to go on a road trip or something and I could just throw this in my bag, I wouldn't. This would take up too much room. It would weigh me down, you know? I would fucking not be able to get to where I'm going as quick as I could because I'd have this book with me. And this book is a real downer in that regard. This book might even prevent you from doing the things in your daily life that you need to do because of just how big it is. It has its own gravitational pull. When you're around it, you just can't help but be around it. So for that, I have to take away points for its gravitational pull. I don't like my books to have a gravitational pull. And I also don't like how there's this can you see this stupid little circle gimmick here? I fucking hate that. I don't want to see that ever again. I see the word Diet Coke in here. Diet Coke, that makes me think of when I was a kid. You know, my mom used to drink lots of Diet Coke. So lots of pleasant memories already. Brought to me by Infinite Jest by David Wallace Foster. Okay? I can't say his last name in the middle. I can't do it. There's something about it that is just wrong inherently. The last name has to go at the last. The middle name goes in the middle, and the first name goes at the first. Now, if this guy can't get that right, why would I bother even reading this? So you know I didn't read it. You gotta get your name order correct, and then I might crack the spine and sit back with a cup of coffee, maybe a little Chardonnay. That's not happening with this if you can't get your name order right. And I love how it tells me on the front, yo, this shit's a novel. Fucking thank you. Oh, I would have never guessed. What the fuck else would this be? And if you look closely at the spine, you'll notice that it has some wear and tear. Wear and tear is a good sign when it comes to a book. That means it's fulfilled at least some of its purpose. And I think a lot of that purpose was fulfilled by pulling people closer to it with its gravitational pull, as I mentioned earlier, which I don't like. So with that being a result of the gravitational pull, I'll have to take away points But if this was wear and tear from reading, then it would be plus points. Negative points. Wallace David Foster. And it tells me on the front here that this is a work of genius. And I can tell that that's a lie already. Because if, like I said earlier, if you made it on a thicker paper, that would be a genius move. If you left out these stupid fucking circle gimmicks, genius move. And then as I go through it, it looks like the words get smaller. I don't know if that's a what do you call it? An optical illusion. Whoa, no! Look at this shit. There are some words. Look at the size of those words, and then these words are fucking much tinier. I'm not bullshitting you here, folks. Just telling you what you're getting yourself into if you fucking go into a bookstore and you whip out a copy of Infinite Jest. If you go into a library and you get your card out and you pull out this thing, this is all the shit that you're going to have to look forward to, and it's total bullshit. Or one of the last things that's really important when reviewing a book is how it sounds when you drop it. Because you don't want a book that's going to disturb everyone around you, and you don't want a book that's going to just, no one's going to hear. You need something. It needs to be a nice middle ground. And it needs to be satisfying. If it's too loud, well, you're fucked. So let's just give this a go. We'll go from like chest level here. Alright, we're going to make sure my kitty's not below me. This might kill him. And we're going to go 3, 2, 1. And we're going to give this thing a fucking drop. 3, 2, 1. Whoa. Oh. Did you hear that? Holy shit. But through all that ambient noise, what you heard was the shattering of all the dreams of all my inanimate objects around me. That was intensely satisfying. So you're not going to want to drop this book when you're having a family gathering. You probably wouldn't drop this book during Christmas or during Hanukkah, you know, that time of year, the holiday times of year. This is probably not like a holiday drop. Alright, you might want to drop this in the summertime, on your 1st and your 4th of July, depending on which country you want to celebrate. You might want to give that a drop then. That'd be a great time to celebrate. Throw an Infinite Jest to the ground. So I've come to the conclusion that one of my first statements about buying 1,000 of these to build a home, don't even bother. He can't get his name right on the front. Okay, he didn't pick the right size paper to print this on. It tells me it's a novel on the front fucking cover, and it tells me it's a work of genius. That's too much self-bragging. And you know, the Dean Project is the only one that has the right to self-brag like that, because we are the best on the planet. So with all that being said, I gotta give this thing a grade. I gotta give this thing a score. I gotta rank it. This book, Infinite Jest, David Wallace Foster, it gets a 2. It gets a low. It's an underwhelming book. It's a 2. This thing's a 2. It's the 2. You just barely scrape past the 1. 1 is basically you just are a book. You can't really fucking get less than 1. 2 means you are a book, but you have no other value. You're a book with words in it, but you can't get the order of your name right. You tell me it's a novel right on the front cover. Pages aren't thick enough. There's the 2. The gravitational pull takes away. It might even get a 3 if it wasn't for the gravitational pull. Now, if the pages were thicker and that gravitational pull was like intense, oh yeah, because that's the kind of book that you want to be drawn to. You don't want to be fucking sucked into this bullshit. Now, if you're on Twitter, I'd find this idiot and tell him to put his name in the right order. So, I hope that was enlightening. A nice book review. If you liked the book review, then I'd recommend you head over to my Instagram channel at Dean Project, Dean Project, where I review stairs. I'm highly skilled, as you can tell, and I'm going to put some videos here, and I don't know where the subscription is, but the subscription is going to be like a circle. I might put it like right here. Perfect.